And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game from Renegade Games called Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Card Game, which almost makes it sound like they're making fun of the game, which I think they are. Now, going into this game, I had never read the comic book Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Card Game, which this is definitely based on, because the components definitely, the artwork in this game definitely comes from that comic. I had seen the movie at some point, and I thought the movie was interesting, but very, very, very odd. So I went into this knowing nothing about the theme. After having gone through this game, I was like, what are these characters? What is going on here? Because the game even says, hey, when you play it, you try to tell a story. I'm like, what is this story? So then after that, I went and read several of the graphic novels for Scott Pilgrim's because I wanted to kind of be a little bit in the know when I talked about this. Are you ready? Let's take a look at the game first. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to pick one of the characters that comes with the game. These are the different characters. Obviously, Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers are in it, but there are other characters that are main characters. It talks a little bit about the strategy, and on the back it has different combinations. Each character also comes with their very specific starting deck. So Stephen Stills has Intense, Rockstar, Sensible Diet, Rock Out, Plan of Attack, Cut the Crap, and Common Sense. Well, they're all double-sided cards, by the way, and a couple drama cards. While Wallace Wells has Can't Touch This, nah. BRB, Wallace's Buddy, Laid Back, Answer for Everything, Dipping Sauce, Shameless, etc. So there's these different cards that are in the deck. You have your own deck. You're going to shuffle that deck and draw a certain number of cards to start the game. 5 usually, 4 if you're the first player. You're also going to pick the big bad that you're going to be fighting here, one of the evil X's, and there are lots of them in the game, and they're all double-sided, so we have Julie Powers here. And then you're going to have a big giant stack of double-sided cards, which you'll split into 2, and then lay out some cards. Now, players will take turns laying these cards out because you have the opportunity to basically kick a card out of the game as you're setting these up. And in fact, when it's your turn, the first thing you do is you can take one or both cards from here and get rid of them out of the game if you want to. They're no longer part of this. It's a way to eliminate cards that you don't want to buy or cards you think an opponent might want. Now, as you look at the cards that are out here, there's a couple things. First of all, every card is double-sided. You're not allowed to look at the other side like I'm doing right now. But in the bottom corner, it gives you kind of a hint as to what's on the other side. At least it tells you the stat. In the top corner of many of the cards, there's a cost for the card. There are 3 currencies in the game. Romance and talent and money. I don't remember what they are. Or there's some cards like these that just need a certain amount of the same resource. So that's 5 resource. Cards will provide resources. So for example, this Adorable costs 3 and it provides 2 hearts when you play cards from your hand. So after you decide to discard your hand, you're going to draw 5 cards in your hand. All right, and you're going to look at your hand and you're going to make sure they're all on this non-fighting side. So that is the green and the blue cards. And so you're going to take a look at these cards and you're going to decide what can you spend with them. So I have 1 heart, 1 green, and 1 wild. Not much I can do here except I can buy this training montage. So I could spend this green and the wild for that to take the training montage. Now when I take it, I don't even have to take the card. I can just chuck it out of the game if I want to. But I could also add it to my hand or add it to my deck, my discard pile. Once you're done buying a card, you can then decide to do a combat if you so desire. You can fight the big bad evil X, or you can fight one of the other combat cards that's up here, like Crash and the Boys and Near Death Experience. To do so, you will draw 5 more cards from your deck. Discard the 5 that you have and draw 5 more cards. And this time, you're going to be flipping on the other side and using the fighting aspect. I don't really have any fighting. Oh, that's Wallace's Buddy. I don't really have any, and the drama's no good. So I have 3 here. Each of these is going to be worth 1 attack. You have to decide what you're going to attack first. So I might attack Near Death Experience. There are ways to get more power by doing some sort of combo. So here is a Smug Mug. It needs 2 to the left. I don't have to the left. And down B, left. I'm saying right. I'm saying left. I have lefts. I need rights. Right. BAB, right. I don't have any of that stuff, so I can't do combos, so I would just have a total of 3. which is not very useful, and I couldn't beat the near-death experience. Each card, when you attack it, will tell you what happens if you succeed. You'll keep this for the victory points on it, 1 victory point. If you fail, you'll discard a card after you draw your new hand. Sometimes when you fight someone, like let's say Crash and the boys, the person who's after you will have to draw 2 cards. So the next person to your left will draw 2 cards, and for each drama card that they draw, you are going to get a certain amount added. In this case, it's +1. So if, let's say, they draw 1 drama card, he would need an 8 to defeat him rather than a 7. And then if I beat this guy, I flip it and keep it. Woo, it's Crash and the boys. They're on my team now. Or if I fail, I add another drama to my discard pile. And there's a whole extra stack of dramas to add. So after the fighting aspect of the game is finished, you'll discard your cards and draw your new hand and wait for the next turn. Now, you do your normal turn, the buying phase, and then the fight phase is optional. If you skip the fight phase, you'll draw 6 cards for your next turn. If you do a fight, then you only draw 5. Either way, if you ever run out of cards, you'll shuffle your discard pile together and draw from that. And new cards that you buy go in there. All the cards in your deck are double-sided, but it doesn't really matter because when you draw your first hand, you're going to turn them all to one side, and when you draw your second hand, you'll turn them all to the other side. You're going to keep going till you get to a certain number of points. That's indicated by the Evil X card. So this one says 18 here. So once someone reaches 18 points, and if you defeat Julie Powers herself, she gives you 6, which is a pretty good deal. The first person to do that wins the game. And that's pretty much it. You're going to be buying cards from here, which are going to be replaced from here. You're going to be fighting the different people here, trying to get points in various ways. And that's how you play Scott Pilgrim. It's a precious little card game. The components for this game are fine. There's a lot of artwork in the game. Let me just run you through this. And, you know, I didn't know if the artwork for this game was original or not, but after reading the comics, I found these exact panels in the comics. So there's just a lot going on. Now realize that it is PG-13 for sure. There's going to be language and some concepts in here that are probably not for young children, so keep that in mind. The card quality is good. I mean, it is Renegade. They do a good job putting stuff together, and everything fits in the box pretty well. As you, like I said, so you can see here, just not everything in this game is PG, right? So anyhow, good quality components. The cards shuffle well. It all looks good. It's easy to differentiate the different cards. There sure is a lot of symbology going on in this game, but yeah, well, what can you do? Okay, so I got to be really clear here, and I know that this is going to bother a lot of people who are really big fans of Scott Pilgrim, but whatever my thoughts on the movie were, the comic book itself, when I first played this card game here, I was like, man, these characters seem so unlikable, and what is going on? I went and read some of the graphic novels, and after that, I'm still not quite sure what's going on. I mean, I get the general gist, but it is not for me. I hated every character. The character I think I like the best, Stephen Stills, seems like he's a jerk, but yet he seemed like he knew what was going on. So my despising of this theme probably affects my enjoyment of the game a little bit. But before I knew about the theme, I had played this game once, and so the theme had nothing to do with the game at all in that aspect. So I want to talk about the game itself, which I also don't like. So you're like, Tom, you're biased because you don't like the theme. Well, that's possible, but I want to give you reasons why I don't like the deck building game either. I like deck building games. I have a lot of them. From Dominion to, there's just so many all over the place. Thunderstone, and I just like deck building. I'm not a big fan of double-sided cards, always. And deck building with double-sided cards sounds like a bad idea. And now that I've played it, it is a bad idea. This game has a couple major problems. One, there's just too much going on. Most deck building games have a single, maybe 2 currencies. This one has 3 different currencies. And so you're constantly like, okay, I need this and this. Oh, I need that card. And then it's technically there's 4 currencies because then also cards come with some sort of fighting ability on them too. So you're trying to collect, I need to get currencies so I can buy these kind of cards. I need to get this currency to get these. Some cards require drama to play them. Some cards require no drama to play them. There's fighting cards and you're trying to get the right combo to match this. And so you're constantly in this state of like, what am I trying to get? It's not very straightforward at all. Then you add to that, at the beginning of your turn, you can chuck cards out of the game, which there's a really good reason there's a tutorial in here, because if you didn't have that at the beginning of the game, I was like, we can chuck cards out of the game? I don't know what cards to chuck out of the game. I don't know. So there's just this constant haze going around. What should I do? They give you a little bit of tips with your character, and the characters do play very differently. But the fact is there's just way too much going on. It's a game full of bloat. There's not even that many cards in the game. But like, for example, DC Deck Builder is extremely popular. I don't like it, but it has one currency and follows that all the way through, and it plays well. My problem with that game is I don't like the theme disconnect, but I can't argue with the game. It plays very smoothly. This one does not play smoothly at all. You are constantly like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? And then I feel like the whole thing is clunky. It's like, draw some cards, flip them all to the right side. What do I want to buy? Do I have the currencies to buy or not? Okay, now let's do a fighting phase. Discard my hand. Draw another 5 cards. Flip all of them to the right side. Okay, I'm fight this thing, but before I do that, you need to draw 2 cards. Are either of them drama? Okay, does that affect this number? Okay, good. I beat, done, then move. Now it's your turn. And it's like, we thought Dominion had a lot of shuffling because you play your cards and then you kept shuffling. Every day you're shuffling. And in Scott Pilgrim's, it's that problem is compounded. And it doesn't feel like you have this lean, interesting fighting deck. It just feels like you have a bunch of cards and you hope they work together to win. Now, I'm sure after some time you could probably work on a strategy, although I don't think you could work on too much strategy because, again, these cards come out randomly, so you don't know what's coming at any given point in time. And I just felt like the game, again, taking the theme out and just that game itself, it just felt like a mess to me. And the symbols and then comparing, and I get it. It's trying to stay true thematically. And as far as I can tell from talking to Scott Pilgrim fans and such, it does. But that doesn't help me either because I don't like the theme. You say, Vasel, you're the wrong person to review this. I don't believe so because I think that it's important to know, is it a good game despite the theme? And in my opinion, it is not. Adding the theme that I dislike on top of it, well, it's just cherry on the cake. Now, this game is selling really well. I know it is. It's doing extremely well. Scott Pilgrim fans are buying it. They're liking it. But if you are a gamer, and many people who watch my channel like to play in different games, and you don't care about this theme, I highly recommend you don't get it. If you do like the theme, still look at the game. It maybe the weirdness and all the oddball, strange things of the mechanics of the game I don't like. Maybe that works with the theme. Maybe that's something in your favor. Maybe you want some deck building game that goes all over the place like this. So that works. Okay, great. But for me, I think this one is one I'm going to have to pass on. Scott Pilgrim's precious little card game. And wow, do I hate that title too. Dice Tower Judgment. I think it's overwrought, but it's definitely not for me.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.